Welcome back to It's Always Sunny in Hollywood, where we finally talk about a returning director that isn't Doug Walker.
I said, thank the Lord.
Yeah. All right. So.
We might get around to him soon, who knows? That's not for me to decide.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm certainly not.
I'm not recommending him. Fuck no. I'm good. I'm.
Two times is enough.
Out.
Two times is enough.
I'm walkered out.
Anyway, who are these people that you are hearing in your head right now?
Well, the first voice that you heard would happen to be me, i.e. Lugia.
Yeah, then there's me, Patrick.
And me, Red Drumarts. I guess we're saying our names in order of appearance. All right.
If you notice, Red's audio is a little more echoey than usual. That is due to certain things that we are not capable of, but hopefully this is a one-time deal.
The day of my birthday, my school decided to give me a nice present. That present was suddenly giving me a roommate out of nowhere. So my roommate is currently asleep in our room. So I figured I wouldn't bother him, and I'm recording in some empty room I found. Want to talk about some news?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, let's start off with the video game news. Metroid Dread came out. Ain't that cool? Getting some good reviews.
I bought the game day one, and I played it all the way through.
Yeah, I heard it was great. I heard there's been some recent controversy with Kotaku like the other day because apparently Metroid Dread, people already got it running smoothly on emulators. So people are having the emulation debate. My stance is piracy is A-okay. I don't give a shit.
Here's my stance on it. You can still buy the game and play it on an emulator.
That's another thing. I know people that did purchase Breath of the Wild, but they ultimately just played on PC because they'd rather play it on PC.
I choose not to pirate things because...
No. Here's the thing. Emulation by itself isn't piracy. You could dump a cartridge onto your computer and just emulate it that way. That's not piracy. You're still paying for it.
I don't play games via emulation. I'm talking about like movies and stuff.
To movies, that's like, I don't know, a bit of an iffier case. Like video games, a lot more clean cut because preservation in video games is kind of awful. So lots of times emulation is the only way to play some games. Whereas with movies, there's some cases where like the only way to get it is through piracy, but there's lots of cases where.
Okay, enough about piracy and emulation. Let's circle back around to Nintendo. So, the final Smash Brothers DLC fighter was revealed to be, drumroll please,
not Crash Bandicoot.
Nintendo managed to convince Disney to relinquish some power.
So, Sora. It's Sora. Sora from Kingdom Hearts. That's the final fighter. That's what we're getting
on some power, because all you're getting is Sora.
Yeah. He does have a keychain that has Mickey Mouse ears. Who knows how many children they have to sell to get that.
Actually, guys, I saw a meme when I was scrolling through social media. It was an image of Sora and an image of Duck Hunt, and it said the trio is complete.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not wrong.
Oh, right. Yeah, because Dog and Duck got it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Smash, Smash Brothers Clone came out. Nickelodeon's All-Star Brawl. The exact same day Sora was revealed, the Nickelodeon game came out. Getting some positive reviews. Heard it's a solid Smash clone. Not amazing, but you can play as SpongeBob. That's good enough.
It's like, fine, they won't put SpongeBob in Smash. We'll make our own Smash Brothers.
All right, I'm going to buy that game if they put Hugh Neutron in.
What I found interesting is that there's a rule where they are going to allow third-party characters in it.
I mean, the Ninja Turtles are in it. So, yeah.
Viacom owns the Ninja Turtles, though.
Oh, they did. Oh, never mind. Whatever.
Yeah. So third party as in stuff that like Viacom doesn't own anymore, but was at one point associated with the Nickelodeon, which means Goku is actually eligible as DLC for this game. We finally got getting Goku in Smash, boys. Yeah. But anyway, Garfield is likely going to be DLC as a leak revealed. Anyway,
moving away from...
The roster was pretty interesting, I thought, for the most part. Had pretty much everyone you'd expect. No Rocco's Modern Life character, which surprised me, but pretty much all the big players.
All right, so moving away from video game news, apparently 2 weekends ago, or let's say the weekend of October 1st when Venom came out, Hotel Transylvania 4 was supposed to come out, but it was taken off the schedule, and this led the internet to be like, hey, where is it? And a few days ago, Sony announced that it will be released in January on Amazon Prime. It is skipping theaters entirely, and it will be on Amazon Prime instead.
Yeah, and as you all know, only the best movies come out in January. That was sarcasm.
Such a
as
good year for films.
January is a month that's infamous for being
it's dump month. It's dump month for movies.
It's the month where studios, they just dump all the stuff they don't know what to do with that they accidentally made somehow.
Like movie studios have no faith in, or it's like Oscar-nominated films so that it's in the forefront of people's minds before award season.
Although what I find particularly funny is how in 2020, the highest grossing American movie of the year was a January release. So, who knows? Turns out you can find success in January, as Bad Boys 2. Bad Boys 3 was apparently the highest grossing movie in America in 2020. Crazy.
Well, yeah, but given the circumstances of what happened in 2020, I don't think it would have held that title. I don't think it would have held that title if things were different.
Yeah, I mean, it did. Still, it grossed like $200 million. Like, it was a successful movie.
I will admit though, with Hotel Transylvania 4 being pushed to next year, it's kind of messing with me a bit because
we're getting a Halloween movie in the middle of winter?
No. What happened? The Hotel Transylvania movies, they're always released 3 years apart. This one's releasing 4 years after the third movie, and I'm like, my OCD is kicking in. Like, it's not 3 years apart.
4 years 3 years to celebrate the fourth entry. That's cool.
No, first movie 2012.
And they're releasing
3 years
it
later,
on the
2015.
14th.
The second movie. Whatever.
All right.
It's just
so
like, you were this close. You were this close, and then.
So anyway, back to video game news because, of course, Resident Evil. Why don't you talk about this one, Lugia?
I haven't seen much on this, but apparently there's going to be a film series reboot called Welcome to Raccoon City.
Coming out next month.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of excited for it because in between now and the Resident Evil episode that we did, I've actually played the original trilogy. And they're all really good games. So
was it 2? Was 2 your favorite?
Yeah, 2 was my favorite. 3 wasn't that far behind, and 1, despite its problems, is still a really good time. So yeah, I guess I'm an RE fan now.
1 remake, I think, is the best of the tank control era. And but out of the original PS1 games, 2 is the best one. I haven't played 3, I'll admit that, but most people seem to agree that 2 is the best one. So
3 is still good. It's still worth your time.
Oh yeah, it's still worth your time. Good game.
I can't say anything about the Resident Evil games, but when it comes to the trailer for Welcome to Raccoon City, it's fine, I guess. Again, I'm not really the person to talk about Resident Evil, but like going off of what I saw.
What about Victorious? Have you seen Victorious? The Nickelodeon sitcom from the late 2000s, early 2010s?
Yeah, what does this have to do with Resident Evil, though?
Did you recognize Leon's actor?
Dude, it has been years since I've seen Victorious.
All right, well, Victorious fans, Beck, the guy who had the goth girlfriend, because his character, honestly, he didn't really have much of a character. He was just kind of like hot. That was his character. He's apparently playing Leon, so that's gonna be cool.
I'm sorry. Unless you're Victoria Justice or Ariana Grande, I'm not gonna recognize you if you were from Victorious. I'm sorry.
All right. So, what about Jade, Elizabeth Gillies?
Who?
The goth woman.
Again, it's been years since I've seen Victorious.
Yeah, I'm with Patrick on this one. I forgot pretty much all of these characters.
The only character I remember is the guy who had the puppet.
I forgot about him.
I'm under the opinion that Victorious is a significantly better show than iCarly, but yeah. Anyway, in tech news, apparently Facebook went down and everything Facebook owns.
Facebook, so, Instagram, and WhatsApp, I think.
Yeah, which are all owned by Facebook, so...
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Some intern might have spilled some coffee on the wrong server and destroyed the company. Just a couple hours later, like the next day, Twitch got leaked, and by leaked I mean a bunch of information got leaked, including apparently the source code. I'm like, how the fuck do you leak that out? But yeah, so there's some controversy as a lot of people's pay got leaked and found out that yeah, there are some people that make like 200 grand a month. So people are like, what the fuck? And that was only just from Twitch subs. That wasn't from like donations or sponsorships or any of the other things that these Twitch streamers have. So that's crazy. Anyway, last news is Scott the Woz, the YouTuber. You guys familiar with him?
Yes.
Yep.
Apparently, his YouTube videos are going to be airing on TV on like reruns. So I don't know if you remember, but like Disney Channel and like G4, they used to air YouTube videos sometimes on TV. So I guess Scott got a similar deal for himself. So good for him.
Huh.
Pro Jared walked so that Scott the Woz could run.
Yes, a lot of people don't know this, but Pro Jared made a cameo appearance on the Nickelodeon TV show once. So is that like 4 Sex Pests related to Dan Schneider shows now? Because we got Dan Schneider, Drake Bell, and now Pro Jared. Crazy. Let's talk about Baby Driver now. Baby Driver was a grand return of Edgar Wright after he basically stopped directing movies for a good amount of years after The World's End, which was the end of the Cornetto's trilogy. Basically, he made the Cornetto trilogy, Scott Pilgrim, and then he just kind of took like a extended break. During that break, he actually was working on the MCU movie Ant-Man, but unfortunately, plans fell through. And basically, Ant-Man, if you've seen it, is a heist movie, so many people theorize that basically some ideas he had for Ant-Man kind of got put into this movie, as this is also a heist movie. This was also apparently inspired by a couple of Edgar Wright's like early student films. He apparently in the opening scene of the movie was actually something he conceived like very very early on in his career, and he essentially just extended that into a full um, thing. He when he was like younger, he made a student film that was essentially like the opening of Baby Driver, so a music video. So yeah, he basically took that music video idea and made it a full length film. If you've seen Edgar Wright's other movies, stuff syncing up to music is honestly kind of a running theme in all of them. He's done that in I think all of his movies. So yeah, this I guess he decided to just fully embrace that running trope into this thing. This is his most successful movie to date. As in between the gap, he grew a massive cult following online as a bunch of YouTube video essays started happening. So this actually was pretty damn successful, grossing $226.9 million against a $34 million budget.
Would you say
Yeah,
this is his most successful film?
financially, this is his most successful film, definitely. This is a bit more contentious in terms of critically. Some people consider it to be his best movie. Some people consider it to be his worst movie. It's definitely got a interesting place. Previously, most people would consider Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and Scott Pilgrim to be. Those are generally considered to be his 3 best films, with World's End and this one kind of in a contentious spot. But yeah, that's I guess the behind the scenes. It was filmed in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. He thought, he wanted to give it a bit more personality, so he actively tried to make it feel like Atlanta because, most movies take place in like LA or like New York, stuff like that, or Toronto. So yeah.
Actually, I got a funny story about how I came around to watching this movie. I didn't see this in theaters, but like a few months after the movie came out, I was in Georgia for a little bit, Atlanta specifically, and we took a movie tour. Me and my parents took a movie tour, and they stopped by some locations that were filmed that are in the movie. And our tour guide said, "How many of you have seen Baby Driver?" And only like 3 people on like the bus raised their hand, and she was like, "I am so disappointed in each and every one of you." So we made a mental note. All right, when we get home, let's watch Baby Driver, and we
Okay.
did.
Yeah.
So
I'm
so
a
thanks.
huge
So thank you, tour guide lady.
yeah. So because I'm a Edgar Wright nerd, I did actually see this in theaters like opening weekend. My dad, I saw with him. So it was interesting to see, I guess, the opinions of someone who's not familiar with any of Edgar Wright's work, see one of his movies. So yeah, that was kind of cool. He thought the gimmick was pretty interesting, although he kind of thought, he wasn't a big fan of like the last act. Okay, let's just briefly. So Ansel Elgort played the main character Miles, also known as Baby. Miles, that's like a Miles Tales Prower like type pun. All right.
You don't even get to know what
Um,
his real name is until the very end.
yeah. Anyway, Ansel Elgort, very controversial figure now. Anyway, then we got Lily James's Deborah. She plays this girlfriend character, love interest. This is a romance movie. I'd say since we're just on the topic of romance, much better romance than like every other movie we've talked about, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
I'd say, well, I mean, compared to Edgar Wright, I do think this is better than Scott Pilgrim in terms of
Yeah.
romance, anyway.
Oh right, yeah. Scott Pilgrim was a romantic movie
Yeah.
too.
I don't think
It
I
had
do
elements
think
of romance, and that's as much of a compliment as I can give it in that area.
I guess The Handmaid is like the only one where like the romance was actually like developed a lot. Because this one, like, this is a romance movie, but her character isn't like the most developed.
I don't know.
Um,
Let's just look at Baby Driver as Baby Driver.
yes, they should not be letting a baby drive. Anyway, then we got an unnamed actor for Doc. Who knows who he is? No, okay.
Oh, you mean Christopher Plummer?
Yeah, Christopher Plummer.
Christopher
Psych,
Plummer
it's Chris
in
Pratt.
Yeah.
Christopher
Shit.
Plummer, guys, come on.
Actually, when I said Ansel Elgort earlier, I meant Ty Sheridan. That's what I meant. Ty Sheridan played Baby. God, this cast has not aged the best. We got John Hamm, who plays Jason Horn, our buddy. He essentially becomes the villain of the movie, which is interesting. John Hamm is probably best known for playing Don Draper in Mad Men. Lily James is probably best known for playing Cinderella in Disney's live action Cinderella. Ansel Elgort is probably best known for Fault in Our Stars and Divergent. Kevin Spacey is one of the most famous actors. You know him.
Kevin who?
I mean, Christopher
Christopher
Plummer.
Plummer.
He's famous too. Whatever.
Like
Shut up.
Knives Out. Anyone? Knives Out.
Then we got Isa Gonzalez, who plays Buddy's wife, Darling. She's in Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, and Godzilla versus Kong. Then we got Jamie Foxx. You guys know who Jamie Foxx is. He's probably the most famous actor here next to Christopher Plummer. And then we got John Bernthal, who's probably best known for playing the Punisher in Netflix's Daredevil, and this one dude in The Walking Dead whose name I forgot. And then we got C.J. Jones as Joe, who's like Baby's dad. Okay,
So
cool.
it's a good cast,
Yeah.
objectively speaking.
Strong cast. Unfortunate victim circumstance. Oh, I just want to say, I think all the posters for this movie look really cool. I didn't know where else I would put that, so I just thought real top-notch posters here. You don't really see posters of this quality as much nowadays, so yeah, good posters. Anyway, I don't know, plot synopsis.
So, Baby, our main protagonist, is a getaway driver in Atlanta. He had a deal with Doc.
Okay, so Doc basically stole Baby basically stole Doc's car as a kid, so Baby's doing all these heists in him to pay him back and also, like pay his rent and stuff. Eventually, like halfway through the movie or whatever, he actually does end up paying Doc off and he's let off scot free. Decides to ask out this girl named who does Lily James play again? Deborah.
Deborah.
So yeah. Shut up, Deborah. Dabra from Dragon Ball Z. Okay, no. So yeah, and then Doc interrupts his date and is like, "Nah, you're still working for me. It's just now you don't owe me. Now it's just profit." Anyway, the crime deal goes bad, and yeah, some shit happens. At one point, John Hamm's wife gets killed, and then dude becomes like angry because his wife just got killed and he wants revenge. So baby's basically like, Deborah, we gotta like go and not die. And yeah, that's basically it. They defeats.
Basically it's about a young getaway driver who falls in love with a girl, and
Yeah,
his last getaway
it's
mission
And the
kind of
team
goes
he works
wrong.
with tries to kill him.
it's a
Yeah.
very loose plot. It's a big change of pace from all the other Edgar Wright movies, which are very densely written, like very dialogue heavy, lots of things. This one, it's a pretty fast and loose movie. Very kind of chill. Not much of a plot really, just some fun filmmaking and decent performances and lines. But yeah. Anyway, baby gets sentenced to 25 years in prison, but then gets off on parole after like 5 years or whatever. And then he runs off in the sunset with his girlfriend or whatever.
They drive down a road they don't know in a car they don't own, and I
I
forget
think
how the
so.
line went, but I forgot how
That's
the line
basically
went, but
the
it's
general gist.
yeah.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on the movie, Lugia?
So, out of all of us, I was the only one who hasn't seen this movie before. And I gotta say, after seeing this, Edgar Wright might be my favorite director. Because he's got style, which you can notice like at the very beginning of the movie with the car chase, and then afterwards when baby's just walking to the coffee shop,
Oh my
and
god,
the
the
music he's
opening.
listening to, you can see the lyrics as he walks by on like different signs, graffiti, stuff like that. It's great.
And there's really no dialogue at all. It's perfection. It is just perfection.
Yeah, this movie is definitely a filmmaking feat. On this rewatch, I did start to understand my dad's criticism of it though, as like basically towards the end of the movie, they kind of just abandoned the gimmick and just kind of do whatever, which was a little bit disappointing. But it's still well shot, well done. So,
Yeah,
um,
I do think the third act is the weakest part of the movie, but
I get what Wright was trying to do. He was trying to raise the stakes.
yeah.
mhm.
So obviously that style that you saw in the first two acts had to be sacrificed.
All right, you guys didn't hear that, did you?
I did.
Yeah.
You heard that? Yeah. Okay.
It was baby.
Yeah, it was sure.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Just go
the
with it. Just go with it.
comedy was pretty good. This movie is apparently not listed as a comedy, but it's still a funny movie. I thought it was interesting. So what really stuck out in me in this movie, because I know you guys have seen Scott Pilgrim and Luca. You've seen Hot Fuzz, right?
Yeah.
So you notice, like writing wise, these movies are incredibly different from like the other two. This one, right?
Yep.
Because like those one, all the characters are incredibly like layered, and it's very like lots of very witty dialogue here. But this one, you decide to just sort of play it fast and loose with like archetypes and just let the actors kind of do whatever. And I think it for the most part like worked out well. You don't really like need to know that much about like Deborah's life or Baby's life or any of them, but because it's not really important.
I think they get the job done.
Yeah, they got the job done. They're not like complex or anything particularly. I'd say John Hamm's character is probably the most complex, and even then, his whole deal is just that he just really loves his wife. He's just a wife guy.
I mean, baby is pretty well developed too.
Well, he is the
Yeah.
main character. You'd hope
Yeah.
he'd be well developed.
Yeah.
Baby was pretty impressive because he barely talks in the movie. Like he has very few lines of dialogue. So yeah, it was pretty cool how he was able to have a lot of like personality come through despite essentially doing nothing. That's pretty
But
impressive.
let's be real though. The real star of the movie here is the editing.
Yeah, this is. I'm very surprised this movie didn't win like an Oscar for best sound editing or whatever.
It was nominated, but like Dunkirk.
It was
won.
nominated, but it lost to Dunkirk, which has horrible.
Dunkirk.
Listen,
What?
Christopher Nolan is a good director. His sound editing is like the one thing he is awful at. Like I'm very surprised Dunkirk won because he is not a good sound editor. His movies always have like just terrible sound editing. It's kind of funny. People make
see.
jokes about how you can barely hear. shit in his movies.
Yeah, I do remember Tenet was like I had to turn the subtitles on a few times, but
Yeah, that's the thing. All of his movies are like that. Like ever since he started doing blockbusters, because like Memento and like Prestige, they were fine, but like Dark Knight onward, his audio mixing has been really bizarre. Dark Knight was pretty good, but like after Dark Knight it got weird. Dark Knight Rises had very bizarre sound editing, and afterwards like Interstellar.
okay.
Yeah.
Let,
Anyway,
let's
we're
let's
going off
veer
on a tangent.
let's veer back onto Edgar Wright.
Yeah. I really like Joe, Baby's foster dad. I thought his character was pretty cool. What did you think of the music choices?
If there's one thing that I will absolutely compliment this movie to no end, it's its choice of music.
Mm-hmm.
They all
Yeah.
fit the tone extremely well. How they were integrated in the film, like I said before, the opening where you see the lyrics as baby walks by, certain signs and whatnot, it just added to the experience.
Yeah, and the way like the action and everything aligns up with the music is just
With the
oh my god,
beats, yeah.
like dude, I love editing and synchronization of music and movement. This is just heaven for me.
Also,
Yeah,
a
this
little thing
movie.
when I think it was Doc was like rolling around the stacks of cash, that played alongside the music.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I thought it was pretty funny how I when I was doing like the background here, I found out that like the idea came from a music video Edgar Wright directed. I was like, oh, that makes sense because this feels like a 2 hour music video. Like that's basically how I pitched this movie to someone. Like this is a 2 hour long music video.
Yeah, all around like great soundtrack all
There's not
around.
really a whole lot I could consider bad about this movie.
None of the songs are particularly like well known, but they're all good. I definitely only one I actually like knew prior was that one song that House of Pain sampled and like Deborah, that song. I thought the remix was pretty cool. That Izzy Slow thing. That was a good scene. Lots of good chemistry between the leads. Baby and Deborah, they had good chemistry. Apparently Emma Stone was originally going to play Deborah, but I guess
Really.
yeah, apparently that changed.
Hmm.
Lily James kind of feel because this movie kind of feels like a fairy tale. I feel like Lily James is a good choice because she's probably the closest you'll get to a live action Disney princess. Like she looks like she's like ripped out of like the 50s or like a fairy tale type thing. So I thought she was like a perfect casting choice, honestly. Emma Stone feels very much more like a grounded type. I don't know. I feel like her performance would have been very different. So I'm happy with the choice they ended up going with. I guess overall I'd give this like a 9 out of 10. I think it's a good movie. I like it more than Scott Pilgrim personally. But I don't think it's better than some Edgar Wright's other stuff.
Honestly, I would give this movie a 10 out of 10, which is kind of generous considering it's my first time watching this movie, but I had like the goofiest fucking smile on my face the whole way through. I loved it that much.
Yeah,
I would,
the entertainment value is really strong with this film.
Yeah.
in terms of
It
my
is so much fun.
tier list of Edgar Wright films, I would put this in between Hot Fuzz and Scott Pilgrim. I just think Scott Pilgrim resonates with me more, mainly from a post production standpoint, because I think that's one of the best edited films, if not the best edited film ever made. That's just me, though.
I don't know of the Edgar Wright films. I don't know how I'd rank it. I do think I do think Scott Pilgrim is funnier, but I think like the craftsmanship and like the style of Baby Wright, I think it does have it edged out just slightly.
Baby Right?
But what
Baby
You
did
Right?
I
said
say?
baby, right?
Did I say Baby Wright?
You said Baby
Yeah.
Right.
Uh, no, no. Baby Driver. Yeah. They are both kick-ass movies though. You can't go wrong with either one. I guess it really all depends on what you want. Do you want like video game like action romance, or do you want like getaway like car chases and music? I mean, I'm a sucker for car chases, so like this movie is right up my alley, I guess.
If you care a lot more about like writing and don't really care about like visuals and stuff, I probably wouldn't recommend this movie for you. But if you're like ready to accept like, you know what? I said music video movie. that's all you really need to understand. This movie is very much about the vibes and the visuals. So recommended for anyone interested in that. So yeah, I guess some other movies to check out if you like this is Logan Lucky. That's another heist movie, pretty funny by Steven Soderbergh. So it's also got a very slick Ocean's 11 style. I mean, he directed Ocean's 11, so yeah. So yeah, also check out Ocean's 11. That's another heist movie with a bunch of really slick editing. You can definitely tell Edgar Wright drew a lot of inspiration from those movies for this one. Maybe check out the movie Drive. It's also about a kind of weird loner driver thing. It's a very different tone though. Drive is kind of dark when this was a lot more light. And I'd also recommend The Nice Guys, which is a pretty funny buddy cop mystery movie. Those are my recommendations. Also, just check out all of Edgar Wright's movies because if you like this one, you'll definitely like his other ones. Anyway, I think it's your recommendation, Patrick.
Yes, it is. All right, gentlemen. It is a spooky month, is it not?
It is spooky month.
I
It is
would
a great
argue
spook-
January is more spooky.
Halloween season. Okay, yeah, because
It's Halloween season, so I decided to pick something appropriate to the season. And this movie is one I haven't seen in years, but I remember it did scare the crap out of me when I saw it.
Oh, wait, can we guess? Can we guess?
I'm gonna ask you not because I have a whole thing I want to say.
Okay, yeah.
Um, I don't know. I remember it scared me as a kid. Chances are it's probably not scary, but I don't know. But I've been curious to check it out again. So why not? For next week, we're gonna be visiting Monster House.
Ah,
Oh, Monster House. Interesting.
it's been years since I last saw that movie.
Yeah, I think last time I saw that was just like on TV once. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I was in the
I-
single
interesting.
digits when I last saw it.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like Coraline or something, but yeah,
No,
I
Monster
was
House,
expecting Coraline.
Also,
No,
because Coraline's like that's the movie that scared the shit out of me as a kid. So like that's why I thought Coraline because I was like, yeah, we had similar childhoods. It probably scared you too.
Actually, I didn't see Coraline as a kid. I actually saw it like just a few years ago for the first time.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
Coraline gave me fucking nightmares as a kid.
But
That was
no, this
that
movie.
horrified me.
I remember this movie. I remember Monster House scared me so much I didn't even finish it.
I'm
But
interested.
again, that was like over 10 years ago. So who knows? Maybe this film is again. Maybe it's not scary at all, and I was just really easily frightened. But
No.
I don't know. I'm curious to check it out again.
So this
And
is
I'm
our
taking you guys with
third
me.
animated film.
No, because we did
If you count
Surf's
Ghost in the
Up,
Shell,
Flushed Away, Ghost in the Shell. This is our fourth one, I believe.
Ah,
we need
okay.
to talk. We need to talk about more animated stuff.
My
So leave
next
it to me.
recommendation will be animated. Don't worry.
Well, that's up to you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's amazing the lack of animation we've talked about.
Yeah, my next recommendation is gonna be like a combination of Blue Velvet and Ghost in the Shell,
Oh boy.
and it's also like my favorite fucking movie like ever. Like the easily top 5 favorite movies.
But we'll get to that when we get to it. For now,
If you don't see him again, it's because I'm dead.